Well, good evening. Many thanks for choosing TV47 News tonight to inform you. My name is Musa Salah. Coming up in the next 60 minutes. Tonight, one case of the UK variant of COVID-19 confirmed on a Kenyan who had no travel history, with 40 others suspected in Kisumu. Also tonight, the IEBC is all set for the Machakos by-election slated for tomorrow, as pressure mounted Kalonzo's wiper asserts his popularity in the county. Plus, it's a fight for survival literally between humans and wildlife in Mandera following a prolonged drought. And Mount Kenya University conducts the authoring ceremony of its pioneer cohort of 24 medical doctors, the first in a Kenyan private university. Welcome to the broadcast. Mini Mbesa is our sign language interpreter. News tonight begins right now. Kenya has recorded a total of 45 new variant cases from the UK as of last month. This is according to the Ministry of Health, that now warns that the third wave has risen our positivity rate to 17%, with over 100 patients currently in the ICU. Zainab Mohammed with the details.
After reporting close to 5 cases of the South African variant of the COVID-19 virus in December last year, the number has shot up to 45 new variant cases now from the UK. According to the Ministry of Health, one case was reported in Nairobi from a patient with no known history of travel, as 44 other cases are recorded in Kisumu County out of 62 suspected cases.
One, of course, that was reported from a sample in Nairobi that had no history of travel, but was reported as the UK variant. You may also be aware of some surveillance which secondary is happening in our lab in Kisumu, where again so far we have sampled about 62 samples from travelers who are traveling from the UK, and out of this we got 44 sequences of the UK variant.
Further, the Ministry of Health says the new wave has spiked the country's positivity rate to a high of 17%. In the last 24 hours, the country recording a total of 1,218 cases out of a sample size of 7,450.
As you are now aware, Kenya is facing another surge of COVID-19. One that is not only varying from what we previously faced, but a wave that is more aggressive, non-discriminatory strain, attacking everyone from infants and those with no known comorbidities to those that are elderly and otherwise vulnerable.
According to Kagwe, the number of asymptomatic cases in the third wave is also worryingly high as compared to the other waves, with the number of patients in ICU climbing to over 100 in the last 1 week from a low of 30 just 2 months ago. Currently, there are a total of 754 COVID-19 patients in hospitals across the country.
Where virtually all our infections were asymptomatic, we are now also seeing a steady increase in hospitalizations, with ICU cases climbing to over 100 over the last 1 week from a low of 30 just 2 months ago.
The ministry further says the spike has also impacted the number of COVID-19 related deaths, with the country losing over 200 COVID-19 patients since mid-January. On Wednesday alone, the country recorded a total of 12 deaths in a span of 24 hours.
I'm sure that each person watching this right now knows at least one home that has recently been pained by serving one less plate this past Mother's Day. And somewhere in a quiet corner of this country, someone is silently watching this as they comfort a friend infected or affected.
The government says genomic sequencing is currently ongoing to determine whether or not the new variant is the major cause of the third wave. However, should the trend of COVID-19 cases continue as is, the Ministry of Health warns that Kenyans should be prepared to host their sick relatives in their houses as a result of an overwhelmed and overburdened healthcare system. Zainab Mohammed, TV47.
Well, we hope all shall be well. Thank you, Zainab, for that report. Now, 1 year and 4 months since ex-KDF officer Peter Mugure was arrested as the prime suspect in the murder of his estranged partner Joyce Yombu and their 2 children, Shanice Maua and Prince Michael, the case against Mugure is still lacking within the Nyeri law courts, yet to officially kick off. Various changes in the bench where 3 magistrates have presided over the case in the past 6 months, coupled with fallout between the accused and his lawyers, have characterized the slow-paced progress of the case. But as David Mudhoka now reports, the sluggish turn of the wheels of justice is proving to be a bitter pill to swallow for the family of Joyce Yambua, which 16 months later is yet to get justice for their murdered kin.
Appearing before the Nyeri law courts virtually, ex-KDF officer Peter Mugure, who is the prime suspect in the killings of his estranged partner Joyce Yambua and their 2 children Shanice Maua and Prince Michael, is now seeking to represent himself in the murder case against him. This is after Mugure parted ways with his lawyer Kariuki Runo, the 3rd lawyer to fall out with the accused in the past 16 months. Others are criminal lawyer Cliff Ombeta and Kimani Njuguna. These changes, coupled with the departure of Justices Jairus Nga and Abigail Mushila, who handled the murder case before Magistrate Florence Mushemi took over the case Wednesday, seem to have clipped the case's wings, forcing it to a standstill for the past 1 year and 4 months. Alongside another suspect, Collins Pamba, Mugure is accused of killing 31-year-old Siombua, their daughter 10-year-old Shanice Maua, and 5-year-old Prince Michael, after the 3 had gone to visit Mugure at the Laikipia Air Base over the weekend of October 25th, 2019. Mugure was arrested 3 weeks later on November 15th, 2019, before appearing at the Nyeri law courts the following month. He has been behind bars since, after Justice Nga denied him bail in February last year. The long wait for justice is palpable among Sumbua's kin, 16 months on, who are yet to come to terms with the gruesome murders.
Chenye naweza kuwaomba tu kama serikali. Mimi kama mwananchi wa kawaida, mimi ni mama mjane. Huyo msichana ndiye alikuwa tegemeo langu. Waangalie tu haki itendeke kama vile za wale wengine utendeka.
The case is, however, expected to gather steam after April 11th, when Magistrate Florence Mushemi will be issuing a ruling as to whether Mugure will be granted the green light to represent himself. David Mudhoka, TV47.
Well, thank you, David Mudhoka, for that report. Now, Education CS Professor George Magoha has for the umpteenth time warned learners, teachers and parents planning to engage in examination malpractices that they will be in for a rude shock. The CS also assured that all is set for the national examinations despite the COVID-19 shaking up the school calendar. Magoha toured several schools in the Coast region today.
Speaking during an inspection of candidates and teachers' preparedness in Kwale and Mombasa counties, Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha assured what he called doubting Thomases that all learners are well prepared for the forthcoming national examinations. Magoha says syllabus covered hitherto guided the setting of the test.
They were doubting Thomases, but you have seen with the example of the children behind us that they have recovered and they have covered all that they require to cover. The stress that they have is unfounded because as we administer the exams from Monday, all we need is what they have in the head. Whatever they have shall be good enough, and there is no cause for alarm.
Magoha reiterated his warning to those plotting to jeopardize the exam and engage in cheating that stern action shall be taken against them when they are caught. Magoha also named some areas that have been notorious with the vice.
Few crooked people who may be my own staff or teachers or others who are cashoots with them, who are trying to confuse and tell the people that there are exams to be purchased. And the hotspot remains, as I said, headquartered in Isebania, Migori and some parts of Kisii. We are watching you.
The Education CS also called on parents to be actively involved in their children's activities over the holidays and engage them in meaningful tasks. Learners will be at home for at least 7 weeks of holiday, with grade 4 learners staying at home for at least 18 weeks. Parents were on the spot when learners stayed at home for 9 months last year due to COVID-19 pandemic.
I first of all want to thank our parents and teachers who have played a very big role in ensuring that those children who are day scholars were masked and were assisted to come to school and go back home. But I want to further request them to be prepared to receive them, to stay with them at home and to provide time for them and to give them things to do, because if you leave an idle mind, then they start thinking of other parts of the body. Engage your children in useful tasks at home and spend time with them.
Further, Magoha reiterated that every student will take their exams at their registered center and that expectant and breastfeeding mothers shall be provided with the relevant amenities to facilitate them during the exam period. There are 9,191,725 registered KCPE candidates this year, while those who registered for KCSE are 752,981. However, there have been reports of missing candidates who were yet to report to school since learning resumed in January. As pupils across the nation prepare for the final exams this year, Education Cabinet Secretary George Magoha insists that they're fully prepared and on the importance of maintaining social distancing, adorning the mask, and following the COVID-19 protection measures. Mari Mwacharo, TV47, Mombasa County.
Thank you, Mwacharo, for that report. We do wish all the candidates the best as they pen down what they've learned in the past couple of years. Now, some members of the Health Committee in Baringo County walked out of a meeting that was scheduled today to probe the Baringo County Referral Hospital management of a mysterious death of infants at the facility. The meeting could not take place as the management failed to produce records showing what transpired at the hospital on the Metro day.
The management of Baringo County Referral Hospital appeared before the county's health committee to respond to questions concerning the mysterious deaths of 7 infants at the facility. Last week, there were claims that the newborns died as a result of negligence. It was reported that the newborn unit was left at the mercy of medical interns who set the temperature too high inside the incubators, resulting to death. The scheduled meeting could not take place as some members of the committee walked out when they realized the hospital's management did not have records showing what transpired at the facility. They further accused the chair of the committee of having been compromised by the hospital's management.
What is happening in Baringo is pathetic, because if you convene a meeting, if you are summoning the health department, you must have had prior meetings with clear roadmap on how to engage the health department. But what we are hearing and what has prevailed today in the assembly of Baringo is just a PR exercise. It is like the head of the department and the chairman of health were in communication on how to drive. It's like they have a desired goal, which to me will not bring out the real investigation.
So leo tu ilikuwa ni wakati wetu wa kuongea na hawa ili tupate nafasi ya kuhoji hawa, watuelekeze tupate ile ripoti kamili, ndio wananchi wa Baringo wapate ukweli wa hayo mambo. So leo tu kwa na mambo mengi, ni hayo tu watube ripoti na tunaendelea, tujamaliza.
Last week, Nur Odwor, one of the aggrieved parents, reported that his expectant wife received poor services at the hospital. He believes his child died as a result of negligence by health officials at the hospital, claims the hospital management has refuted.
There were referrals from outside. There was even a baby who had been abandoned outside in the street, who was brought here, was in severe condition. That's one of the cases who we lost. So what our CC said is not out of negligence. In the month of January, we lost babies. In the month of February, we lost babies. Why now? Why now? You know, we're asking ourselves why. Because these are hospitals. The are people who will get well. It can go either way.
Every player in this thing, the administrator, the executive, the CEC, and we are ready to take action. If it turns out that there's iota of truth in this information, then it's not going to be business as usual.
Media was locked out of the meeting. Sharon Baranga, TV47.
Well, Sharon Baranga's report takes us to a short commercial break, but we'll be back with more. Remember, you can follow this live broadcast on www.tv47.co.ke.
You are watching TV47, the home of untold stories.
Tamasha Paints, rangi ambayo imeimarika, rangi ya kipekee. Tamasha Paints ni kampuni ya kimataifa ya kuuza aina zozote za rangi ambazo zimechanganywa na teknolojia ya kisasa. Tunakuletea rangi aina ya Cover Matte, Silk Vinyl, Vinyl Matte, Weather Guard, Super Gloss na High Gloss. Pia tuna mafunzo ya kutengeneza rangi zilizopita mafunzo ya kimataifa. Tunafunza kutoka mwanzo hadi mwisho kwa muda wa miezi miwili. Shule yetu ina vyumba vya malazi kwa malipo ya shilingi 40,000 pekee. Tunapatia wanafunzi wetu cheti inayotambulika kote nchini, kuwatafutia attachment na kuwapatia kazi wanapomaliza masomo. Tunakuuzia mashini ya kutengeneza rangi na kemikali za hali ya juu kwa bei nafuu. Kwa maelezo zaidi tutembelee Kangundo Road, Choka area karibu na stage ya Hurlingham, ama uwasiliane nasi kupitia 0712 222 893. Rangi si rangi, rangi ni Tamasha Paints.
Accelerate your career growth by studying at Jordan College of Technology Thika, the leading technical, business and hospitality training institution in Kenya. As we celebrate 13 years of quality training and academic excellence, we invite you to apply for the various courses during our April 2021 intake. We offer over 50 government-approved diploma and certificate courses in catering and hotel management, journalism, electrical and electronics engineering, fashion design and garment making, hair and beauty, business courses, plumbing, ICT, secretarial, tourism, laboratory science, nutrition and dietetics, community development, driving classes, among others. With qualified lecturers, a dynamic approach to teaching and state-of-the-art training facilities, Jordan College is making world-class education affordable and accessible to all. Our graduates are sought after and have excelled in the job market. For more details, call us or visit our Thika main campus at Alisa Plaza. Jordan College of Technology Thika, a legacy of quality training and academic excellence.
Watching TV47, the home of untold stories.
welcome back. You are watching News Tonight here on TV47. Now, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, has finished the preparation for the Machakos by-election set for tomorrow. IEBC Commissioner Boya Molo and County Commissioner Fred Ndunga have assured voters of a fair and peaceful voting process in the county. Joash Onsare is in Machakos and filed the following report.
The preparations for Machakos senatorial by-election are complete, with over 622,000 voters expected to cast their ballot tomorrow.
Our returning officers have trained the presiding officers, clerks, and the security people. So everything is set. We are just waiting to open the polling stations tomorrow morning.
The County Commissioner Fred Ndunga has assured voters of peace during and after the casting the ballot.
Na tumejitayarisha vya kutosha. Tumeweka vitengo vya usalama katika hali ya tahadhari na tumedeploy maofficers wa kutosha. Kwanza usiku wa leo, masaa ya kafyu ikifika, hatutaki kusikia hata kama inzi inatembea. Masaa ya kafyu ikifika, kila binadamu awe kwake, kwa nyumba.
Stakes are high in this by-election, with experts saying the senatorial contest will measure the political strength of Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka, who fielded Agnes Kavindu on a Wiper ticket, and the former Machakos Senator Johnston Muthama, who is the chair of UDA, the party that has sponsored Albana's Muthama Ngengele. On Wednesday, Maendeleo Chap candidate Mutua Katuku withdrew his candidature in favor of Wiper.
Maendeleo Chap party extends its goodwill to His Excellency the President Uhuru Kenyatta, to the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, and other BBI partners by withdrawing its candidate from the forthcoming Machakos senatorial by-election.
Nonetheless, the IEBC has said there is no official communication on Katuku's withdrawal from the by-election, since the voting paper had already been printed for the exercise.
For once, the Commission has no any official communication about withdrawal of any candidate. If anybody has withdrawn, have a political deal somewhere, we are not informed and we are not party to it. But whichever the case, as long as the ballot papers have been printed, your name cannot be removed from the ballot paper. So it remains. So it's voters to make their choice.
IEBC Commissioner Boya Molo has said the Commission is prepared to follow the COVID-19 protocols in the 1,335 polling stations in Machakos County.
In every polling station, we have a thermogun to check the temperature. We have an officer whom we have named COVID clerk, who takes temperatures, who ensure everybody washes their hand before they get in the polling station, who ensure there's a social distancing in lines, and even the KIMS kit, they are sanitized after every voter. The IDs are not going to be held by hand by our officers, you just show it like this to them. So there are a lot of elaborate processes in place to make sure polling stations will not be a spreader.
In Machakos Town Sub-County, voting material for the 8 constituencies are ready for distribution tonight. IEBC is promising fairness in the exercise. There are 9 candidates in the by-elections.
There will be security, and as IEBC, we are all prepared for the D-Day that is tomorrow, and we shall conduct our election in a free and fair manner.
With all set by the IEBC in Machakos by-election, now the residents of this county will be heading to the ballot to decide who is going to be their 3rd senator after the demise of Senator Boniface Kabaka. Joash Onsare, TV47, Machakos County.
Now, the drought crisis in Mandera County continues to worsen day by day and almost mutating into a total humanitarian crisis. Mandera County government has been forced to feed wild animals who have moved into villages in search of pasture and water. So dire is the situation that animals have died in their numbers with little intervention from the government. Mwangi Maina now reports.
Tens of carcasses of wild and domestic animals is the first thing that greets you on arrival at Sakaba village in Mandera West, Mandera County, the ultimate victims of the dry spell that has persisted for many months in this part of the country. For almost 2 years, the region has not received rains, with more than 200,000 people on the brink of starvation. So dire is the situation that wild animals are now competing for the little resources with human beings. Baboons from the neighboring Takaba Hills have moved into the neighboring villages in search of water and food. In this part of Mandera County, it is survival for the fittest between human beings and baboons who rummage on anything that comes their way to quench thirst and satiate their hunger.
Personally went to the CC water. I told him we are only tracking for human beings and the livestock. Wildlife are dying. He agreed to discuss with the government and he called us after 2 days. They gave us fuel and water. Now we took the thing to the wildlife who have been tracking water for the wild animals, for monkeys almost. We have been tracking water about 8 places in Takaba.
The place where we are giving water to the monkeys in Takaba, plus some feed, so that these animals, the flora and fauna is not disturbed and these animals do not perish. Because we also, because of the leadership of this county led by His Excellency the Governor, it's our dream to see that no one dies, including the wild animals. And that's why we're even giving water to this wildlife.
Owing to the sorry situation that has resulted to animals dying in droves, Mandera County government has moved in to alleviate the situation by providing water and food. The baboons know it's mealtime when they spot officials from the county government who bring in cereals for them.
The situation will be a bit crisis. We may see more animals dying. And what we are appealing is, at the moment, it's only Mandera County government that is doing these drought mitigation issues. We don't have the national government, we don't have the NGO world, we are on our own. And therefore we have to struggle here and there because the situation is overwhelming. And we are appealing the stakeholders to come in because food is required, more water is required, more tankers are required, more collapsible tanks are required.
The battle is between saving the starving human beings and the dying wildlife. Due to their limited resources, the county government is calling on the Kenya Wildlife Service to move in quickly and salvage the situation, lest all the animals will perish as more and more people starve.
It seems the Kenya Wildlife Service is only concerned about animals that are kept in the national parks. They should also know that in northern Kenya and in Mandera County, there are so many animals. The challenge here is with the monkeys, the warthogs, the gazelles. So these are some of the animals that are suffering, and I think it's the high time they diversify how they try to help these animals, these wild animals in this part of the world.
In case rain fails, then probably with the resources they have, we might be heading for a disaster.
The burden of feeding people, livestock and wildlife has been left to the county government of Mandera, a county ravaged by desert locusts and drought. Mwangi Maina, TV47, Nairobi.
Well, we do hope the government moves in with speed to avert the looming food crisis in Mandera County. Now, the clergy and persons living with chronic diseases have been added to the list of priority persons to receive the AstraZeneca coronavirus vaccine. While updating Kenyans on the COVID-19 situation in the country from Afya House, Nairobi, the Ministry of Health has defended the use of the jab, which has been marred by controversies.
As the Ministry of Health continues with the vaccination drive of frontline workers that include teachers, security and medical personnel, the clergy and those with underlying health conditions have been included in the priority group. The COVID-19 Task Force Chairperson, Dr. Willis Akwale, announced the amendments on the priority group on Wednesday. He also gave political leaders an option of either being immunized voluntarily or wait for the second phase set to commence after June 2021.
As we have indicated, this first phase covers frontline workers who have included health workers, teachers, security and religious instructors. For avoidance of doubt, religious instructors include members of the clergy.
Following the ongoing suspension of the AstraZeneca coronavirus vaccine by many European countries over blood clot claims, the Ministry of Health defended the vaccine just like the World Health Organization and Europe's drug regulators. With over 380 million doses administered globally and 20,000 doses administered locally, Kenya has only recorded 40 cases of mild effects from the vaccine developed at Oxford University.
There have been a lot of reports about the AstraZeneca vaccine and the suspension of vaccination programs, especially in Europe. And this has caused anxiety, but I want to assure Kenyans that they should not, there's no cause for alarm.
Health CS Mutahi Kagwe has refuted government spokesperson Cyrus Oguna's claims that the country lacks adequate storage facilities for the vaccines. Health facilities have also been warned against hoarding vaccines for their staff.
There will be disparities because of certain logistical issues. Remember, not all our counties have got the same kind of infrastructure, and therefore the rollout has to be in sort of staggered.
I want to assure Kenyans the capacity of the cold chain in Kenya to handle COVID-19 vaccination is adequate at the moment. We are this year we will be talking about 24 million doses.
The coronavirus vaccine rollout in the country commenced on the 5th of March following the arrival of the first batch on 3rd March. Grace Josephine reporting for TV47 Nairobi.
Well, it's time to take another short commercial break, but we'll be back with more. Stay tuned.
You are watching TV47, the home of untold stories. At Trisent School of Medical Health, Science and Technology, we offer highly competitive courses tailor-made to suit your needs. These include certificate and diploma in theatre technology, medical engineering, nutrition and dietetics, radiography and sonography, science lab, health records, environmental health science, counseling psychology, applied biology, social work and community development, information and communication technology, among others. Register now at our Nairobi campus in Nairobi West around Nyayo National Stadium on 0700-129536. Our Juja campus next to Jomo Kenyatta University on 0700-000760. And our Kisumu campus opposite Swan Center, Oginga Odinga Street on 0703-201229. Trisent School of Medical Health, Science and Technology, where careers come to... UIP Real Estate is here to end your search for land because we have the ideal land just for you. Land that's close to the most anticipated Silicon Valley in Africa, Konza City. A prime location that is convenient to the modern lifestyle and has ticked off all the boxes of basic amenities. Worried about the distance? Our prime land is only a property that is within the Konza locality of Mombasa Road, 1.2 kilometers from Konza Isinya Bypass, and also 500 meters from the proposed Nairobi-Mombasa Expressway. With the under construction of JKIA Westland Superhighway, this will shorten the distance by 1 hour fastway in, out and away from all the hustle and bustle of Nairobi City, or should we call it Kanairo? What are you waiting for? Whether you are looking to buy and build or invest, book prime land with us now and be sure of high returns on your investment. Call us on 0708-423244 or email us at info@uip.co.ke or visit our website www.uip.co.ke. UIP Real Estate, the home of affordable land.
Nilipatia ile 100,000 bonus kwa mtoto wangu, na mimi nampenda. Sasa akiwa na shida si lazima nami nimsukume. Kwa majina naitwa Charles Mole, nimetoka Kitui. Kwanza mimi nilikuwa naendesha gari, nikaingia nikafutwa. Sababu kufutwa niko nyumbani. Mimi nalima. Nimecheza kwa muda wa miaka 5 na kitu. Nataka kununua mahindi, maharagwe, niwe nasafirisha. Watu wa kwetu vile naweza kuwaambia ni wacheze loto. Wengi wamesema ati nimecheza na nimewacha kucheza. Kwa kweli mimi nimeendelea, lakini nimeona loto ni mzuri. Changamka, cheza loto.
Changamka, cheza loto.
TV47, the home of untold stories.
Welcome back. You're watching News Tonight here on TV47. Now, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, now says the distribution of new constituencies in the proposed 2020 constitutional amendment bill is unconstitutional. According to Chairman Wafula Chebukati, IEBC is the only body under the Constitution mandated to do delimitation of constituencies, as Elizabeth Mutuku now reports.
Appearing before the Joint Legal Affairs Committee, IEBC Chair Wafula Chebukati said the BBI task force can only create constituencies but not allocate them to counties or boundaries delimitations.
Should be done in this case should be give 70 constituencies, say we are adding 70 constituencies, and let the IEBC use the formula in Article 89 and allocate them to respective counties. The Commission is of the view that the role of allocating any proposed additional constituencies should be left to the Commission in line with the Constitution, and this has been the case with previous delimitation processes.
IEBC boss told the committee that the Commission was not consulted during the creation of the 70 extra constituencies, but knew about them when the bill was made public.
To present to this committee that clearly outlines your findings on the ground that will guide as far as the boundaries and also constituencies are concerned.
And now I'm asking you this as a lawyer. In the event that there is no public participation in the delimitation of the additional 70 constituencies, what do you think will be the constitutional implication?
IEBC further raising issue with the 6 months time frame given by the BBI team to create new constituencies, saying it's impossible to conduct delimitation of new constituencies within that time, considering how emotive the process could be.
During the first delimitation under the Constitution of Kenya 2010, the Interim Independent Boundaries Review Commission undertook data collection and first round of public hearings from May 2009 to November 2010.
In the session, the differences between IEBC and Kenya Bureau of Statistics also played out as it emerged that there is no official data on population as per constituencies.
Chairman, I think this horse is well flogged without having to go to the blame game. I think we have gotten from the director that they do not have that data. I think we've gotten from IBC that they do not have that data. They were in the process of constituting it. What we do with that information shall be ours.
So we are under Article 89 of the criteria for representation, which is by population. That ideally would have put a competent commission under notice that you needed to do some work on the question of delimitation.
Director General Kenya Bureau of Statistics McDonald George Obutho accused IEBC of refusing to provide necessary map as per the words to enable finish the validation process, even as Chebukati insisted that would be keen on delivering on their mandate.
Before we have this one out, there are boundary issues which are touching on the which are touching on the wards. And we require the shape files that are officially held by IBC defining every ward.
The Joint Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, having concluded public participation exercise, will proceed on which write its report, which is expected to be tabled to both houses come next week. Elizabeth Motuku, TV 47 Palm Buildings, Nairobi.
Well, thank you, Elizabeth Mutuku, for that report. Now, Mount Kenya University has today held a glamorous oathing ceremony for the first cohort of 24 medical doctors. The oath was administered by Dr. Evan Njenga, the chairperson of the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Council. Medical doctors joined the institution in the year 2014 and are ready to proceed for internship in various hospitals, having completed their 6 years of study. The internship is a period of supervised practical work in medical hospitals prior to registration as practitioners, which will be for a period of 13 months. They have undergone practical training in well-equipped science laboratory, which is a public-private partnership between Thika Hospital and the university.
Yeah. So apart from just carrying what you have learned in the head, you have that compassion in your heart to engage with patients and be able to deliver the health up to the grassroots.
Who have got the resources to think about investing in health facilities. I am saying this because when I heard the minister, the cabinet secretary for health saying that during the third wave of COVID-19, our hospitals were full, and I was telling myself that we need to encourage those people who are well-to-do to think about increasing the number of health facilities in this country.
Which is their due. I will respect profession with consent and dignity. The health of my patient is my first consideration. I will respect the secrets which are confided in me even after the patient has died. I will maintain by all means in my power the honor and the noble tradition of the medical profession. My college will be my brothers and sisters. I will not permit consideration of religion, nationality, race, party, politics, or social standings to intervene between my duty and the patient. I will maintain the utmost respect for human life from its beginning, even under threat, and I will not use my medical knowledge contrary to the laws of humanity.
Mount Kenya University Rwanda campus and its founder, Professor Simon Gisharu, have donated 3 million shillings to the Imbuto Foundation in Rwanda. This comes from a 5-year agreement through a memorandum of understanding with Imbuto Foundation aimed at providing opportunities for brilliant but economically disadvantaged students in secondary schools in Rwanda. Through the partnership, MKU pledged to contribute 1.5 million shillings to be disbursed in 5 years with annual installments of 3 million shillings to support the education of 100 vulnerable students in secondary schools through the Imbuto Foundation.
As our commitment to contribute annually an amount of US $30,000 or its equivalent in Rwandan francs for a period of 5 years. I am happy to note that Mount Kenya University Rwanda has so far observed this mandate on an annual basis as enshrined on our MOU with the Imbuto Foundation, and certainly we shall continue to do so.
The partnership that we have needs to continue growing as we are in the 4th year of this commitment, and initially we had signed for 5 years. We hope that the past few years will encourage all of us to continue building on the past experiences that we've had in terms of supporting students at the secondary school level, but also supporting university students. As we've seen the past year, one of the greatest qualities that we can actually appreciate to be able to overcome the adversity linked to COVID-19 is solidarity. So it is very reassuring to see that we are here today proving that solidarity is still very much alive. and hopefully building on the past few years of this partnership to be able to see what else can we add to this.
Now, Interior PS Karanja Kibicho has dismissed calls for his resignation. Kibicho has said he will educate Kenyans on the BBI without intimidation, as Muthoni Maina now reports.
Speaking in Kirinyaga during a tree planting exercise to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the presence of the Akorino Church in the country, Interior PS Karanja Kibicho dismissed calls for his resignation over his involvement in the BBI referendum process.
Sisi tuko na responsibility tukiwa Ministry of Interior and Coordination of National Government kufanya civic education, na tutaendelea kufanya mpaka watu wetu waelewe. Wale wataelewa na wakubali, tutaenda safari moja. Wale hawakubali watakuwa hawakubali, lakini wameelewa.
A section of ODM leaders have been calling for the resignation of the PES, accusing him of involving in BBI politics and frustrating ODM boss Raila Odinga's 2022 presidential bid. According to Kibicho, millions of shillings that were used to maintain peace after the 2017 disputed polls are now being channeled into building police stations countrywide.
45% wa Kenya wako na haki kama sisi wenye hawakukubaliana na matokeo ya uchaguzi, na hao ni wa Kenya. Tulikuwa tunamaliza store moja ya tear gas kila wiki. Ukipiga wa Kenya tear gas, wa Kenya wako na haki kama watu wengine. Kila mwezi polisi tulikuwa tunawapea 10 million chakula ya kukimbizana na watu. 10 million tulikuwa tunatumia, saa hii inajenga police stations na kuprovide security kwa wananchi wa Kenya.
Kirinyaga women representative Wangoi Ngirishi, who had accompanied Kibicho, said that despite having divergent opinions over BBI, Kibicho's proximity to the president has seen Kirinyaga County benefit immensely.
As long as PS anasaidia watu wa Kirinyaga, he has brought a lot of development that is not questionable, so we respect him for that. He is our son. Kwa hivyo wale wanasema hiyo maneno mingi kwamba ati PS shuke chini, they are only calling for our wrath.
Kibicho says he will continue educating Kenyans on the importance of BBI despite facing intimidation. Muthoni Maina, TV47.
Kenyans living at the Kenya-Tanzania border are now crossing over to Tanzania for cheaper fuel in the neighboring country, following a hike in fuel prices in the country. Some say the prices are as low as 80 shillings in Tanzania compared to 122 shillings in Kenya.
Following the rise of fuel prices in the country, Kenyans living at the Kenyan-Tanzanian border in the counties of Migori and Taita Taveta have been crossing over to Tanzania to buy the commodity at cheaper prices.
Mafuta ndio kila kitu. Unapata ya kwamba mafuta ikipanda hata kidogo hivi, gharama ya maisha pia imepanda. Saa hii kila kitu imeshapandishwa. Sasa angalau serikali angalie hii maneno kwa kina kabisa. Bei ya mafuta tafadhali irudishwe chini.
Kunywa nini chai asubuhi? Sasa hii wengi wameanza kula sapa peke yake, watoto wanaumia. Nikirudi kwa mafuta ya Tanzania bei iko chini. Na mafuta inapita Migori kwenda Tanzania, inapita Kenya kwa ufupi kwenda Tanzania. Sasa tunashindwa kufika Tanzania, bei iko chini na huku inafaa iwe chini.
They say they have been buying fuel at as low as 80 shillings compared to 122 shillings in Kenya. The Energy Regulatory Authority earlier this week announced an increase in fuel prices. However, Kenya remains the only East African country with high petrol prices. Its neighbors Ethiopia and Kenya selling a litre of petrol at 58 shillings and 93 shillings respectively.
Nilikuwa hapa lakini bei ya mafuta ikapanda sana. Ikabidi nitoke hapa niende niishi Tanzania, ambapo saa hii sitaki kurudi Migori sababu bei ya
nchi jirani hapo mafuta yanauzwa lita ni 2,180. Hiyo ni kama shilingi 95.
The same situation has been witnessed along the Taita Taveta border as boda riders cross over to Tanzania for cheaper fuel.
Vijana watashindwa kufanya boda, wataingia kwa njia za wizi. Hiyo ni lazima. Vijana wataacha kufanya boda kwa sababu haizi peleka abiria mahali pa shilingi 100 amlipisha shilingi 50 ile ya zamani wakati yeye haitamlipa. Unaona? So kwa kweli sekta boda inaenda kukufa.
Na sisi wanadamu wa chini hatuna chochote.
tutakufanya nini? Mama mzee kama mimi naweza ukanyaga hapa mpaka nyumbani na miguu. Nikiambia vijana hao wananiambia bila 150 mama sikupeleki. Kwa nini? Mafuta mipanda. Sasa mimi na uzee wote huu kwangu ni mbali. Soko ni Tanzania. Inatoka huko tunaenda huko. Mimi nitakanyaga na miguu. Serikali ituonee huruma tafadhali.
Government spokesperson Sarah Soguna speaking to the media however defended the move by the government.
Kuna polisi lazima walipwe kwa lengo la kuimarisha usalama. Kuna wanajeshi lazima walipwe. Kuna watumishi wa umma kama sisi lazima tulipwe. Kuna barabara lazima itengenezwe. Shule za lazima zijengwe.
The new fuel prices are expected to increase the production costs of basic commodities, forcing Kenyans to dig deeper into their pocket.
Sasa tunashangaa maana tunaona malori ya Tanzania yakichukua mafuta yanapitia hapa, na inamaanisha kwamba Tanzania ni mbali kulingana na mahali wanatoa mafuta huku Mombasa. Lakini tunashangaa hapa mafuta inauzwa ghali na jirani zetu Tanzania wananunua mafuta bei rahisi.
Tanzania and the rest. When somebody starts comparing Kenya with Europe and America, I think that's
mafuta ikipanda hata kidogo hivi, gharama ya maisha pia imepanda. Sasa kila kitu imesapandishwa. Sasa angalau serikali angalie hii maneno kwa kina.
Pikipiki zinasimama, mafuta iko juu. Penye mteja alikuwa anapeleka shilingi 50, inabidi sasa mteja apeleke na shilingi 100. Inabidi sasa watu wengi wanatembea kwa mguu.
Now, ODM party has picked Pavel Oimeke as its preferred candidate for the Bonchari constituency by-election slated for the 18th of May. Oimeke, the former Energy and Petroleum Director General, emerged the party's choice after the wife to the late Member of Parliament Oro Yoka joined DP Ruto's UDA in the last minute. 3 candidates had shown interest in the seat, but businessman Bill Ogega was disqualified after it emerged that he was not a life member of the party, thus leaving Pavel and John Momanyi in the race. Oimeke resigned recently from EPRA amid a graft case. Apologize for that technical hitch, but we'll get that story just in a few moments. Now, a police officer who survived a fatal shooting by his colleague in Nyamira has been airlifted to Nairobi for specialized treatment. Odhiambo Nikanor was fatally shot at a close range by his junior, identified as Julius Mdachi, who had allegedly resisted redeployment from the area governor's home, who later shot himself after the incident. Nyanza Regional Police Boss Karanja Muiruri, who led a team of senior police officers, say that one of the killed police officers, Sergeant Amani Ali, died at Nyamira Hospital after bleeding excessively. Those who were shot were Chief Inspector Nikanor Odhiambo, who is the Sub-County Critical Infrastructure Protection Unit Commander.
Chief Inspector Rikanur of Sipu, APS, was called by a sergeant who is now deceased, and there was a constable who claimed he doesn't want to be deployed at the deputy governor's residence. So the sergeant called the in charge, who is now the chief inspector, who is alive, but now the officer who shot the sergeant disagreed with the chief inspector. That's when he said, now nilikuwa nawatafuta na imefika wakati ye. So he had an AK-47 and he cocked his AK-47. From there they had no otherwise. He shot the chief inspector and also he shot the sergeant. From there, when he knew that now the officer has passed away, he just turned his gun to himself and he shot him.
Now, businessmen in Naivasha are counting losses as fire incidences continue to raise down property worth thousands of shillings with no fire engine in town. The latest incident happened this morning in the town, as Willie Dennis Njiru now reports from Naivasha.
Early morning in Naivasha town, billowing smoke as business premises go down in flames as the residents pull together concerted effort to salvage property and fight the fire. Unfortunately, the only fire engine in town is yet to be recalled back from the county headquarters in Nakuru.
And we actually demand now that our fire machine irudishwe. Najua for a long time tumepromise itarudishwa, lakini it is time hiyo machine irudishwe, because every now and then 2 weeks ago tulichomekewa stage, moto ingine ikafanyika last week. Kwa hivyo kuna umuhimu hiyo fire machine yetu iweze kurudishwa.
Sisi tunataka gari letu la moshi la kusima moto irudi hapa Naivasha. Ilichukuliwa ikapelekwa Nakuru. Kana kwamba Nakuru wale watu ni wa dhahabu, sisi ni watu wa miti. Sisi tunataka hiyo gari irudi mara moja hapa. Isipokuwa ni wananchi wamejitolea, hii nyumba ingechomeka.
The fire is said to have emanated from one of the shops here and caused by an electric failure by an electric appliance.
Tutaishi bila zimamoto kama hii ghorofa inachomeka, sisi wenyewe tunajikuoshia na mkono na bado sisi wenyewe bado tunachomeka tukitoa vitu. Hiyo ni aje?
Boda na Nakuru County hakuna wazimamoto. Gari walipeleka wapi? Unafaa kuwa na gari, ati kitu yote ikifanyika inafaa kuwa inakuja.
In a concerted effort, residents of Kabati Estate left nothing to chance in salvaging this vehicle that had already caught fire, pulling together their energy and bulldozing the parked vehicle out of the raging flames.
Sasa hiyo gari isitoke hapa mpaka hiyo zimamoto ikuje. Tuione saa hii. Hii gari tumeamua ikae hapa mpaka gari ya moto ikuje. Walipeleka zote Nakuru.
The NYS fire engine that responded late to the incident was repulsed by the angry crowd that had already barricaded the road using the ill-fated car.
Hii mambo ya fire brigade ya Naivasha kutolewa inapelekwa Nakuru. Hatuitaki tena. Na watu wakienda kulipa license hapa unaambiwa lipa disaster management. Disaster management ni ya kazi gani kama hatuna fire brigade Naivasha?
It's hardly 2 weeks ago when another fire incident razed down property of unknown value, and locals are left at the mercies of the local water boozers to supply them with water to fight the fires.
Kila wiki wakaji wa Naivasha tumekuwa tukizima moto. Mnakumbuka hivi majuzi tulianza pale stage ya Nakuru, kweli ama urongo? Hakuna zima moto. Namuomba bwana gavana tafadhali, ikiona uko na kilio cha mwanadamu wa chini, ukiangalia hizi biashara ni za watu ambazo zimeweza kuungua, hao watu wataenda wapi?
Reporting for TV 47 from Naivasha in Nakuru County, I'm Willie Dennis Njiro.
Now, residents of Lamuria village in Kieni West Nyeri County are counting huge losses after marauding jumbos from Solio Ranch invaded their farms, leaving a trail of destruction on their farms. The Irate residents demanded urgent action by the Kenya Wildlife Service to confine the jumbos to their habitats, as they will be forced to seek relief food due to the destruction estimated to run into billions of shillings. Now, according to Mugunda Ward MCA Joseph Nderitu, 2 years ago, Tourism Cabinet Secretary Najib Balala oversaw the translocation of some of the elephants from Solio to Savo, but the herd population increased, reserving efforts to contain human-wildlife conflict. Their consistent plea for help from KWS fell on deaf ears.
Lakini hakuna usaidizi tunapata, na ndio maana watu walikuwa wamesema leo lazima wafikishe kilio chao hata ile ofisi ya juu sana ili waweze kusaidiwa. Katika karibu kitu miaka 2 hivi, kuna wakati hizi ndovu zilikuwa zimekuja kushukuliwa huku, na waziri Balala akakuja wakasema wataondoa hizi ndovu zote huku, wakaondoa kiwango kidogo, hizo zingine zikabakishwa huku. Sasa tunaona kama ndizo zimeanza kuzaana.
Toka usiku nakuta ndovu inakimbia na mbwa. Sasa tunasema tusaidie, kwa sababu sisi tuko na shida kubwa sana, kwa sababu hata watoto wa shule wakienda kwa shule asubuhi wanakutana na mandovu, tukasindwa hii ndovu ni mbuzi ama ni nini. Tusaidie, kwa sababu saa hii kikuja isike mtoto ni shinda kwetu.
Well, it's time to take a look at what is happening in the world of sports, and our sportsman Dennis Otieno is on standby on the other side of the studio. Good evening.